Hi guys, what is up? It's your girl Karen, aka cakedbybabyk, and welcome back to my channel. Oh my god, I didn't do the snaps. Back to my channel. It's hard with this mic, y'all. As you can tell, we are trying a new audio system. I just got the DJI mic. I always want to say Digi. Is it Digi? DJI? Whatever, I got a new mic. Still trying to figure it out. I hope that this audio captures. It looks like it's capturing. If you guys can tell a difference between my previous videos and this video, let me know in the comments down below. It is really gloomy outside today. It's been raining the last few days, so if you hear rain splatter against the windows, I can't control the weather. Today is actually Valentine's Day, and unfortunately Nate is sleeping right now because he did work last night, but I thought it would be fun to talk about wedding stuff, specifically wedding dresses. As you guys can tell by the title of this video, I tried on close to 20 wedding dresses, maybe even more if I'm not mistaken, and that is a lot. I believe the average is usually around 10 if I'm not mistaken. I could totally be making that up. But I just wanted to spend today talking about love and weddings and just being cozy. I'm in my sweats right now because it is so cold. We're gonna go through all the wedding dresses that I said no to. Obviously, you guys aren't gonna see the one that I said yes to until my actual wedding, which is in a few months. But nonetheless, I'm gonna have a lot of fun showing you guys and critiquing the wedding dresses that I declined. I'm also gonna be sprinkling in some wedding dress shopping advice. So if you are a future bride or if you're planning on getting engaged anytime soon, maybe save this video, like, share with someone who might be getting married in your life. I don't know. Just do your girl a solid and support the channel. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. I'm gonna have my phone so I can reference all of the freaking photos and videos that I took during all of my appointments. The first place that I went to, I think I tried on 10 or 11 dresses, and while I don't have photo evidence of all of them, I have a majority of them. So let's get down to the first one. I, for reference, am 4'10". I know, it's such a shocker. Everybody says I have such tall girl energy, maybe at least average height energy, I don't know. So shopping for clothes in general is pretty difficult for me, let alone shopping for wedding dresses. I knew I didn't want a ball gown silhouette. That was like my one big no-no. However, the people that I brought shopping with me, they said just try on a ball gown to get it out of the way. Like, you may end up loving it, or it can just confirm your suspicions that you're gonna hate it. So the first dress that I tried on was actually more poofy. It was definitely ball gown-ish. This is what it looked like, and I actually didn't hate it as much as I thought I would. However, I just felt like I was swimming in it, and of course, wedding dresses and gowns are customizable, so they said that they could take out some of the fluff if I wanted to, but I still, it just wasn't the dress. What I did love about it though was that it had pockets. That was the only dress that I tried on that had pockets, and if you're a girl, you know the pocket is coveted in a dress. Now, the second dress that I tried on is something completely different, and I went into wedding dress shopping not knowing what I wanted. I didn't do any research on silhouettes or designers. I just went in completely blind, and in hindsight, I don't think that I would do that again. So that's my first piece of advice, is to just do your research before you go into these boutiques and just try on everything in sight. So this was the second dress that I tried on, and apologies for this angle because most of the pictures from this boutique are going to be taken from this angle because the layout was just not conducive to front-facing photos. Very different from the first dress, but I knew I wanted to try on this type of style because I, number one, do like it, and number two, Nate, my husband, we're already married, I find it ironic I'm not wearing my engagement and wedding rings, but I digress. He always said that he envisioned me in something with lace, so that kind of gave me the push to pick out more lacy dresses. Now, I like the front of the dress just fine. However, the train I wasn't super in love with. I didn't really like the gap towards the center. It just wasn't a seamless transition between the solid white and the lace. So this just wasn't it for me. So moving on to the third dress that I tried on, the same train comment stands with this one as well. I think there's just too stark of a difference between the white fabric and the lace for the train. I just was not a fan of that, but I loved the low back on this one. You can tell they stuffed a cushion down my back because they couldn't pull it with the little clips. This one was definitely more simple in the front. I wasn't a huge fan of the neckline, and I know that these are sample sizes, but I don't know, I felt like it made the upper half of my body just look a little bit bulky. And if I was gonna do lace, I was going to pick a dress with the type of lace design as the second dress that I just showed you guys. Now moving on to the fourth dress that I tried on, this was actually my #1 contender for the weeks that I was wedding dress shopping until I found the one that I actually said yes to. I absolutely loved the back on this dress. I thought it was so beautiful and stunning and gorgeous, and I honestly still think about the back on this dress, but the way that I looked from the front, it just wasn't it. However, I didn't know that at the time. I really love the ruching and draping detail in the front, and I just liked the simplicity and the timelessness of this dress. And then we put it on with the veil, and I fell in love with it even more. And you can see in some of the photos that there is this sleeve draping from the sides. It's originally a strapless dress, but I knew that I kind of wanted to have that like off the shoulder draping. Going for Grecian goddess, okay? Those are the vibes. So this was my top contender at this time. Now the fifth dress that I tried on was, I think, a complete 180 than my top choice. Very heavy on the beading. I thought it looked like a topographical map or a geographical map. Reference photo here. Looking back at these photos, I feel like I like it a lot more, but when I had it on, it was so freaking heavy. Obviously, because of all the beading. It's still a stunning dress, but I just knew once I put it on, it was not for me. I also did not feel snatched in it, and I want to feel snatched on my wedding day. I'm a petite lady. There was no way I was gonna haul that dress for a whole ass day. So now that we're about halfway through with the wedding dresses from this appointment, I'm gonna drop another kernel of advice. I tried on my dresses in the order in which I thought would go from least liked to most liked. And in hindsight, I would do it the opposite way, because not only would it make the decision process easier, at least for me, it would save me a ton of time. So now whenever people get engaged or they tell me that they're looking for wedding dresses, I always tell them, start with the dresses that you think you're gonna like the most and then work your way down from there. Because doing it in the way that I did it, where I tried on least favorite to most favorite, it just made everything more confusing. So just a little nugget of advice there. Okay, moving on to what I believe is dress number 6 at this point. This is gonna be really hard to keep track. This was a crowd favorite when it came to the people that I brought with me to this appointment. Everybody loved it on me, and while I'm not hating it, it just wasn't it. I did love the silhouette on me, but I wasn't in love with how short the train was and how it was tulle over solid fabric. It's really hard to tell in the photos, but there is a hint of pink in the flowers, and I don't know, for some reason that just kind of turned me off from this dress. And while the pink did add some dimension and some character, it just wasn't for my character. Everybody was so upset that I didn't like this one, which leads me to another kernel of advice. Limit the amount of people that you take with you to your bridal appointments. I took 5 people to the first one, and it was actually going to be 7, and 2 ended up backing out last minute because of reasons that I don't blame them for. But 5 people was a lot, and now I know why some boutiques only allow 1 to 2 people, because it just becomes very overstimulating. I went home after my first bridal appointment and I cried to Nate. Like, I was so overwhelmed, and it just was not what I envisioned my first time trying wedding dresses on to be. If you are bringing people with you, I would highly suggest thinking about the way that you need support when it comes to wedding dress shopping, whether it's you need them to be brutally honest, or you need them to just be super agreeable, or if you need them to just not say anything. Let your people know what you need, because if you're going in blind and you're bombarded with a ton of opinions like I was, it's going to take away from the magic of the process. And when I was talking to my stylist at this store, she said a lot of brides actually come in on their own. And at first I was like, oh my God, that's so sad. Like, brides come in by themselves? Like, what? And then after this appointment, I understood. I understood fully, and I said those women are smart. And I actually ended up buying my dress and trying on my dress when I was alone. So something to think about if you are a bride or a future bride. Okay, this is dress number 7. I really loved the simplicity of this one. I loved the draping over my boobage area. This was originally a spaghetti strap, and I am not a huge fan of spaghetti strap anything on me, so I knew I wanted to make it strap-less, but I think that would be a little bit difficult given the structuring of this dress. I loved the lacy back. I liked how it wasn't too much. Here's what it looks like with the train. There is more lace on the train. This one, for some reason, I think blends a little bit better than the other ones that I've showed, but ultimately the reason why I said no to this dress was because with the with the more thin nature of this fabric, you can see every bump and curve, and like you could literally see like my underwear lines. And I know I'm gonna wear shapewear on the day of my wedding, so that shouldn't even be an issue, but I just didn't like thinking about the prospect of having to like suck in on the day of my wedding. Like, I want my dress to just do that for me. So that's why I said no to this dress, but I did really like how it looked with the draping, and that just kind of helped me narrow down my choices and my preferences. Moving on to number 8, I believe this one was really similar to number 2, but the mesh under the actual white and the designs and the appliques, it was a little bit more bright than the second one that I tried. I believe this one was my second choice of this entire appointment. Again, I love a low back, you guys know at this point, but this dress had spaghetti straps versus the other one, it had more of like an inch thick strap. And not only was it a spaghetti strap, it was like a bejeweled strap. So I just wasn't in love with that. Although, like I said, this was my second choice from the entire appointment, I think. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've tried these on. This was back in October. And looking at this dress, I wasn't mad about how there was no lace on the train. I actually loved the simplicity of the train. So while this was not my dress, I do think that it led me to narrow down my choices. That's another piece of advice I have for y'all. Take note with what you like from each dress, because there are so many designs out there that you're bound to find one that has all the elements that you like in one single dress. Now this one, dress number 9, I really loved her. Again, she's more simple. I love the draping across the boobage area, and this one had such stunning details that I was like, oh my gosh, this is so gorgeous. Like, there were pearls, and I look back and I'm just like, dang, this dress would be so good. But I said no to this one for similar reasons as the other one that had draping, which was I just didn't like how I didn't get snatched. There's a seam that runs straight across where my belly button would be, a little bit higher than my belly button, and I just don't think that cut and shape was conducive for my height. I think it emphasized my lower stomach area a lot, and I just wasn't happy with it. Although this is such a stunning dress, and I'm jealous of any bride that gets to wear this one. All right, so this one is number 10, and I loved this on the hanger, but I didn't love it on my body. Again, the plain white fabric into the lacy train, it was too abrupt of a stop for me, and I don't know, there are just dresses that you think look really good on the rack, and then you put it on your body and you're like, immediately no. And that happened with me with one other dress that I don't have a picture of, because I put it on and I was like, yeah, no, this is not it. I don't even want to go outside and show people. And that one had lace sleeves. I really thought that I was going to pick a dress with lacy sleeves, but I tried on one from this boutique and I was just like, no, not for me. Get this off my body immediately. So towards the end of my appointment, I did try on my top 2 contenders again, and I looked at them in different lighting. I went to different mirrors and parts of the store to look at myself. I tried them on with veils. Another piece of advice, sometimes it doesn't feel like the dress until you put the veil on. I feel like putting the veil on really enhanced all the dresses for me. It made me look at them in different ways. But don't let that be the deciding factor as to why you pick a dress, because you're not going to be wearing your veil the entire night. So now we've gone through 10, technically 11 wedding dresses, and I actually think I'm going to split this into 2 parts because I don't want to talk your guys' ears off, but I will give you guys some pieces of advice to end this video. One of the most important ones being do your due diligence and your research on designers and silhouettes before you go to your appointments. Look up the designers you like, their styles, and look up which boutiques in your area carry those designers. That's something that I wish I had done before starting this whole process. It's just going to help narrow everything down that much more. And looking back at my first appointment, and actually all of my appointments, I wish that I had taken down the names of all of the designers and the styles of the dresses that I tried on. So that's another piece of advice if you are super type A, like I usually am. And the last piece of advice that I'll leave you guys with for now is to set a price range that includes the alterations of your dress. I had a budget in mind for my dress, and while I came in under budget for the dress that I chose, I'm going to be over budget with the alterations. So keep that in mind. I feel like that's something that rarely anybody talks about. And also research the boutiques that you're going to as well, if they do their own alterations in-house or if they partner with seamstresses in the area. But I have so many more wedding dresses to show you guys and so much more advice on the whole process and this topic. So let me know if you guys want a part 2. Actually, you don't even have to let me know because I'm going to do a part 2 anyways, regardless of it, if anybody wants it. So but that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, thumbs up, all that good, and I'll see you guys in my next one.